Okay, fine. When we are making it as a public, we can access it everywhere. That means within the same package in a different class or in a child class. Okay, this is third program is a child class. And in a different package, we can access it, okay, in either in a normal class or in a child class. This is another child class. Fifth program extends to first program. So we can access it everywhere. Okay, but let's say I make it as a default one. Okay, so when it is a default one, it can be accessed only within the same package. We cannot access it in a different package. That's why whenever we make it as a default one, then both of these programs will show errors. Okay, you will see some red cross mark here. Okay, so let me make this one as default. Okay, see, it is showing some red marks here. Okay, because a default one can only be accessed within the same package only, either in a different program or in a child class. But in outside of the package, you will see the errors. If you see this error, it is showing you like some error here. The error is, okay, the field first program dot course is not visible. Okay, similarly in the child class also, you will see the error, the field first program dot course is not visible. Okay, this is the error. Similarly, okay, so now this is default. Let us say I make it as protected. So when can I access a protected variable? Where can I access a protected variable?
Only inside the sorry, it is inside our package only.
No, that is default. Inside the package only, that is default. Protected.
Okay.
Protected is anywhere within the package and also child classes in a different package. Okay, if you see the child class like in the different package is fifth program. So you won't see any error for this one, but you will see an error for fourth program. Okay, let me save this one. Okay, once I save, see the error for this fifth program is gone. Okay, that means you can access a protected variable or a method within the same package and also the child classes in a different package. Okay, now let me make it as private. Private. Okay, so what happens?
Only in the same class only we can access it.
Yeah, we can access it only within the same class, not anywhere else. That's why only this class only is not showing any errors, but all the other classes within the same package and also in a different package, they are all showing errors. Okay, do you understand this one? The access modifiers is an important one. Okay, normally like 99% in the interviews, like they will ask you this question. Okay, what are the different access modifiers we have, and what is where can you access a public variable or a method, or where can you access a public sorry, a default one, where can you access a protected one, where can you access a private one? Okay, any questions in this one so far?
No.
Okay, fine, let me go into the interview questions. Okay, so access modifiers. Okay, so we have seen this one about like variables and methods, right? This access modifier. What about a class? Okay, what access modifiers can a class have? Okay, let me make this one again, this variable as public. Okay, okay, I have made this one as public, so you can access it everywhere. Let's come to the class. Okay, a class can be the access modifiers that can be applied for a class are only public and default. We cannot have a protected or a private class. We cannot have it. Okay, so let us say I make this. Okay, so since this is a public, okay, I can access it everywhere, so no issues. But what if I make it as a default one? Okay, only I can create objects for this class only within this class, within this package. I cannot do it outside of the package because that's the default one, right? So if I remove this one, Control S, okay, see, it will show you errors because this is a default class. I can access it only within the same package. I cannot access it in a different package. That is why it is showing errors in the other package. Okay, and for example, if I make it as protected, okay, it will throw a compilation error. The compilation error is illegal modifier for the class first program because we cannot have a protected access modifier for a class. Similarly, private. Okay, similarly, private also it will show illegal modifier for the class first program. Only public, abstract, and final are permitted. Okay, yeah, public or default we can use. We'll come to that abstract classes later. Okay, so only public or default ones are permitted at a class level. Okay, okay. Now let's go into this interview questions. Okay, so I have explained like all these things here, and the same programs like I have mentioned them here. Okay, you can look into that, and then let's go into that. What access modifiers can be used for a class? The access modifiers are public, okay, and default. Okay, public and default. And where can we access a public? We can access it within the same package. That means in the same class, or in the same package subclass, or in the same package non-subclass, a different package subclass, or a different package subclass means child class. Okay, we can access all these points. Similarly, default means okay in the same class, in the same package subclass, in the same package non-subclass. That means we can access it anywhere in the same package. And default, a class with default modifier can be in a different package subclass. No, this is not wrong. This is not correct. Okay, we cannot access it a class. What access modifier can be used for a class? Okay, it is public and default. Okay, okay. So what access modifiers can be used for methods? What access modifiers can be used for methods? You can use public, default, protected, and private. So we have seen all these things. Okay. Okay, so don't worry about this one for a top class and all those things. Like, and this is not needed. No one will ask you like about this top class or inner class. Oh, okay, okay. So this is a different one. Fine. So I can have like more than one class in a file. I can have more than one class in a file. Okay. For a top class, only two access. Yeah, for a top class, only two access modifiers are allowed. They are public and default. If a class is declared as public, it is visible everywhere. If the class is declared as default, it is visible only within the same package. If we try to give private and protected as access modifiers to a class, then we'll get illegal modifier for the class. Okay. So only like public and default. If we give like private, we have seen this one. Okay, illegal access modifier for the class. That's the error that we get. Okay, explain what are access modifiers can be used for variables. Again, for variables, it is public, default, protected, and private. Those are all the things that we can use. Okay, can a class be declared as private? Okay, can we declare a class as private? No, we cannot declare it because it will give an error illegal access modifier. Can a class be declared as protected? No, again it will give illegal access modifier. Okay, what is the access scope of a public method? So tell me like what is the access scope of a public method? Anyone? Sorry, not public method, protected method. What is the access scope of a protected method or protected variable? Where can we access that one?
Within this class and its child class
Within the same package and
and child
classes
together.
in a different package.
Different package.
Protected
Okay.
package.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Now, if the variable is declared as private, where can we access that one? Within the same class. Only same class only we can access that one. Okay. What do you understand by protect? Okay, so this is again like we have discussed this one. Okay, what do you understand by private, protected, public? These are all access modifiers. Okay, we can have the variables as a private, protected, public, or default, and classes can only be public and default. Okay, then you can explain like if we declare something as private, we can access it only within the same class. So you can explain all those things. Okay, okay. Okay, if a class is declared without any access modifiers, what does it mean? The access modifier is default. Okay, and where can we
Default.
access it? We can access it only within the same package. Okay, if a method is declared as protected, okay, we can access it within the same package and in the child classes of the different package. What is the difference between a public and a non-public class? Okay, public means it's a public access modifier. We can access it everywhere. Non-public means it is a default one, or yeah, we can say non-public means it can be also like private and protected as well. So this may not be known. But what is the difference between public and default class? You can say public means we can access it everywhere. Default means we can access it only in the same package. Okay. Okay. Now let's come to this one. Okay, so we have seen about access modifiers, we have seen about non-access modifier is static. Okay, now come to this question: why the main method is public, static and void in Java? Okay, so how do we declare a main method? Basically we declare it like public static void main, right? Public static void main, that's the main method. So why it is public and why it is static and why it is void in Java? Okay, because the reason is public is an why it is public is an access modifier which can be used outside the class. When main method is declared as public, it means it can be used outside the class. Okay, so that's why main method is public. Why it is static? Static means something that belongs to the class. To call a method, we require an object. Sometimes it may be required to call a method without the help of an object. Then we declare this method as static. JVM calls the main method without creating an object by declaring the keyword static. Okay, whenever we execute a program, okay, JVM calls this main method, okay, because main method directly, because the execution starts from the main method, right? So when it is static, okay, JVM doesn't need to create an object for that one. That's why main method is always static. Void means main method doesn't return anything. That's why it is always void. The return type is void. Okay. People may ask you, it's not like a very high probability, but I have seen in some interviews, asking this question: why main method is like public static void? Okay, because that main method can be accessible outside of the class. That's why main method is public. Okay, and JVM accesses the main method, okay, without the need of creating an object. That's why it is static, and the main method doesn't return any value back. That's why it is void. Okay, do you understand this one? Now, like,
Yes.
solid understanding of this access modifiers, public, private, protected, and all these things, and also non-access modifier static, okay, and return type like void. Okay, so the just remember one thing, like when it comes to static, when somebody asks you like what does it mean by static? Static keyword in Java. Static means something that belongs to the class. Okay, something that belongs to the class. That's what it is, static. Okay, so any questions on the access modifiers?
Yeah, so is it possible to use some other modifier into the main method?
You can use like you can use like without public, like you can write it as a default access modifier, but again the problem would be like you cannot I think like you cannot create an object for that class like outside of that package or something based on the access modifier. Just try it, okay, because main method is also method basically. Okay, any method we
Oh,
can have all these four access modifiers like public, private, protected and default. Okay, we can
okay,
have it. Okay, but again, like the limitations will apply based on the access modifier. Just try that one. Okay, but the thing
okay,
is that like you never generally like try to use, because main method is always like public static void main, that's all.
okay.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, any other questions? Okay, fine. So the next chapters we have like inheritance, okay, which is an okay from here onwards, like inheritance, abstract classes, interfaces, polymorphism, like these are all like important chapters. Okay. People will ask you like questions on all these things. Okay, fine. But before this, going into this one, okay, I will start you like with what is this? Git. Okay, start using Git like from now onwards so that you'll be used to it. Okay, I'll start with Git and I'll explain you like what is Git and how to push your code like to Git repository. Okay, whenever like you are practicing, every time like just start pushing the code, updated code to Git so that you'll be used to the Git commands. Okay, that means okay. So what is Git basically? Okay, why do we use Git? Okay, Git is a repository system. Okay, so Git is a repository system. For example, like not only like in automation team, but like in generally, if you consider the development team, they work multiple people work on the same project. Similarly, in automation projects also, multiple resources may work on the same automation project. Okay, so what happens is like you will be developing your own scripts. Okay, let us say this is automation tester 1. Okay, automation tester 1. Okay, similarly we have multiple automation testers. Okay, so let us say this is this is automation tester 2. Okay, even though I'm writing this one as automation tester 1, let's say this is a different automation tester. Okay, this is one automation tester and this is another automation tester. Similarly, like this you have multiple automation testers who are working on the same automation project. Okay, since you will be developing the script in your own system, this tester will develop like his scripts on his own system. Similarly, this tester on his own system, and this tester on his own system. But at some point, you need like all these other files as well. Okay, whatever this automation tester is doing, you need those files. Whatever this automation tester is doing, you need those files. Similarly, these other two testers also, they need the other testers, like whatever they are working on, whatever they are developing, they need those files. So what we do generally, we'll maintain a common repository system. Okay, let's say this is a common repository. Okay, there are like multiple repositories that we have, but generally we use something called like Git repository. Okay, so what we do is every time we merge all our code to this repository. Okay, so we'll push our code to this repository. Similarly, this tester will push his code to this repository. Okay, and this tester will push his code to the repository. And once this is done, generally normally like every day or like every couple of days, we'll pull this code back to our local system. So this tester will pull this code back to his local system. Okay, so that he will get all the updates that the other testers have done. Okay, so whatever like these testers have done, they already pushed to this repository, so that this tester can pull this code again back to his local system, so that he'll get all the updates that the other testers have done. So he will have like all the latest updates on it. Similarly, these automation testers also, they will pull it the code from the repository every every day, like when they start it, or like every couple of days. Okay, whenever there are like some major changes are done by the other members. Okay, then the automation testers, they will pull the code from the repository. That's why we'll have a common, we'll maintain, everyone like will maintain a common repository. Most of the companies, they use Git repository, which is nothing but GitHub. Okay, so this is normally like okay, GitHub. Okay, GitHub, this is GitHub. Okay, so generally like you'll see like github.com. okay, which is an online one, but companies can install their own GitHub accounts on their local servers, because generally they won't put it like on a public servers of github.com. That's why whenever you see it like in the companies, for example, if it is IBM, okay, it will be something like when they install it on their local, you will see it like GitHub dot, okay, ibm.com, something like this. Okay, you will get these URLs whenever you go into a company. Okay, you will get these URLs. Okay, the repository URLs. Okay, you will get them. Okay, and if it is like a different company, Infosys, github.infosys.com, they can install this GitHub, entire GitHub on their local servers within the company. Okay, because like they won't allow the code to be uploaded to the public server. So generally you won't see it like github.com. Okay, you won't be able to like upload code into this one. Generally they have their own accounts created or like GitHub installed on their servers, and you will see something like this and you will use this one. But for our training purpose, like we will use github.com. Okay, this is nothing but GitHub. This is where we maintain the code and people can pull or push the code to the to this one. Okay. Okay, now this is about a repository. Now let me go here. Okay, so in order to have like a repository, I mean, in order to use a repository, in order to push the code to a repository, not to like have a repository, but in order to push the code to a repository, the first thing that you need to have is you need to download Git to your local. Okay, so that is just go to Google. Okay, so go to Google and type like download Git. Okay, you will see something like HTTP Git and downloads. Okay, download Git SCM. Okay, you will see something like this. Okay, so, based on your operating system, click on that operating system. Okay, so here it is Windows. Okay, mine is a Windows, so I'm using this Windows. Okay, again we have standalone installer, 32-bit installer, and 64-bit installer. Okay, so I think like people are not using 32-bit anymore. I don't see like in any computers like we are getting it with the 32-bit. Mostly like everyone is using a 64-bit laptops or desktops. Okay, so 64-bit. Okay, so it will download this Git. Okay, once it is downloaded, just install it. Like double click on this and proceed till end, and it will be installed. Okay, I have already installed it in my system. That's why I'm not installing it like one more time. Okay, so just download Git. Okay, and install it. Okay, so and then okay, so you will see it like click on next until it is installed. Once this is installed, okay, just to go with the default options for this one. Okay, once this is installed, you will get git bash with it. Okay, git bash is like a command prompt. Okay, it is a command prompt editor. Okay, you will get git bash with git. Okay, let me show you this one. So you'll be having like somewhere like a git bash. Okay, let me. Okay, so you'll get this one git bash. Okay, once you open this one, you will see a window like this. Okay, this is a git bash window. Okay, so you'll get like git bash with it. Okay, so yeah, this is a git bash window. Okay, let me open that git bash window. Okay, git bash. Okay, so the version, once it is installed, if you type like git hyphen version, I think it is hyphen, okay, not single hyphen, but it is hyphen. You should be able to see the version of the git installed, git version 2.38.1. Okay, once it is installed successfully, if you open this git bash and if you type git space hyphen version, okay, you will see the version of git installed on your system. Okay, configuring git. Okay, if this is the first time that you have installed Git on your system, okay, you have to configure this one. Okay, the configuration options are like either you can configure it at the system level, or you can configure it at global level, or you can configure it at local level. Generally, we go with the global level. Okay, we'll configure it at the global level. Okay, the commands for this one are, okay, so git config hyphen. There are two things that you have to configure. One is your username and another one is your user email. Okay, so these are the two things that you have to configure. Okay, so I think it is not like 2012, but I think it's 2018, something like that. Okay, fine. But whenever like when you configure this one, okay, this is my git config hyphen global user dot name. Okay, and then in double quotes, enter your username. Okay, similarly, git config hyphen global user dot email. These are the two things you have to configure, because I have already configured it like on my system. I'm not showing you this one. Okay, but if it is the first time after you download and install Git, these are the two things that you have to configure. One is user dot name and another one is user dot email, and we are configuring at the global level. Okay, that's why I told you, right? Like the three ways that we can configure is at system level. If it is at system level, git config hyphen system we use. If it is at global level, we use git config hyphen global. If it is at local level, git config hyphen local. This is what we do. So we are configuring at the global level. So we are using git config hyphen global user dot name. This is what we have to configure. Similarly, git config hyphen global user dot email. This is what we have to configure. Okay, and yeah, if you want to these are like some other commands. Git config hyphen list. It lists all the configurations that we have. Sorry guys. Okay, so if I want to know all the configurations, okay, git config hyphen list. Okay, hyphen list. If I do this one, then I will see all the configurations that I have done. For example, if you see the user.name, I have set it to Subbu, and user.email, I have set this one to my email. Okay, any questions on this one so far on the configurations? Only this is one time job that you have to do after you install. Okay, after you install Git. Okay, similarly, if you want to see the configuration of the username that you have done, okay, so you config, okay, git config, and then hyphen global user dot name git config hyphen global user dot name. Okay, so Subbu. Okay, so this is the username. If you want to see the configuration, you can see either git config hyphen list, which lists all the configurations that you have done, or git config hyphen global user dot name. Okay, if you want to see the individual configurations. Okay, so this is about downloading and configuring Git. Any questions on this one so far? This is one-time job that you have to do when you start working on Git. Look, first time you have to download Git and install it, and then configure the username and password. I mean email or password. Okay. Any questions on this one so far? Just download Git, go to Google, and download it and install it and configure the two variables, which is your username and email. Any questions on this one?
So what happens if we configure it as local or the other one shared? What is the other option?
Local means if you have access to multiple people on your system. Okay, generally we can configure multiple users, right? If you access it at local, only you can access. If others log in with their username, they cannot access Git.
Okay.
Okay, so similarly, the same thing, I think with the system also. Even I don't know about that system one, but the local is based on the users. If you want everyone to use, then we use global. If we want only one particular user to use that one, we set it up at local level. Sorry. Okay, that's how it differs. But for practice purpose, you can just use it as a global. Okay, fine. Now let me go into the next one. Okay, let me close this one. Okay, so Git workflow. Okay, so this is after you install Git. Okay, what we have to do. Okay, for example, I have to upload. I want to upload or I want to push all my programs or whatever the work I have done to Git. Okay, what I have to do. Okay, the first thing that we have to do is in the program, in the project. Okay, in the project I need to create a Git repository. Locally I have to create a Git repository. Okay, so let me show you here. So in this one, if you see here, this is where I have created a Git a Java project, right? Java batch is my project. Okay, so let me open where this folder is. Let me go to the properties. Okay, this is where it is: Java training workspace, Java batch, D drive, training workspace, Java batch. Let me copy this one. Okay, let me go here. Okay, so this is where my project is. Okay, in the training workspace Java batch, this is where my project is. Okay, so what I have to do first, if I want to push my code to a repository, the first thing I have to do is I have to create a local repository here. I have to create a local repository here. Okay, once that local repository is created by using the command git init. Okay, so git workflow. Okay, we create. I'll show you that command git init. Okay, sorry. Whenever I use that command, okay, it will create a local repository. But in addition to the local repository, what it will do is, okay, it will create a staging area as well. It will create a staging area and it will create a local repository. Okay, so what we have to do, this is our working directory. Okay, where all our components are, like all our Java files, everything is there. Okay, so first we have to add them to the staging area. Okay, once we add them to the staging area, from staging area we have to add them to the local repository. Once once we have added this one from local repository, we will push them to GitHub remote repository. Okay, so let me just show you this one in a picture here. Okay, fine. Okay, so the command that we use is git init. Okay, whenever we run this command within a particular folder, okay, in that folder it will create okay, let's say this is our working directory. Okay, this is our working directory. Okay, and let me show you this one. Okay, this is our working directory. That means this is where all our code is there. Okay, working directory. And this is, okay, whenever we run this command git init in this working directory, okay, it will create a staging area first. Okay, staging area. Okay, and then it will create a local repository. This is local to your system. Okay, so this is what we will have. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to push the code from our working directory to staging area. Okay, so this one we'll do it using add command. Okay, git add, and you can mention the file name or you can mention like everything. Okay, so we use the command here. We use the command git add, and if you want to like push a specific file, then you can use git and index.html, something, any file name. If you want to push everything, okay, we'll use a dot here, git add dot. Okay, space dot, git add space dot. Okay, this is what we have to use. Okay, now once this is everything is moved to staging area, okay, then we have to move it to local repository. Okay, for moving it to local repository, we use the command git commit. Okay, git commit. Okay, when we use git commit, everything from the staging area will be moved to this local repository. When we use this git commit command, okay, we have to give a comment for this one. So the comment will generally give it as git commit -m space in double quotes. We will give the comment saying that okay, okay, config file updated, something like this. Okay, we have to give some comment to this one. Okay, so how do we move okay, so once this is moved to the local repository, okay, then we will move it to the remote repository. So this is our remote repository, okay, which is nothing but our GitHub account. Okay, GitHub remote repository. Okay, so we have to move it from here to this remote repository. Okay, so do you understand the structure here? So what happens when we run this? Okay, in order to create a repository, what should we do first? What should we do? Anyone?
Yeah, first of all, we will do git add.
No. Before that, we'll
Uh,
use
uh,
git init command.
Git init, git init.
Yeah,
okay.
git init. What it will do when we run this command git init? What it will do?
Basically, it will
Initialize in the global. It can be either in.
No.
It will create. It will create the repository.
Yeah. I mean, what it will create basically? It will create a staging area and it will create a local repository. Okay. So the process is okay. Now once we run this git init command, okay, this is only one time job. Again, wherever you want to push the content, this is only one time job. Only the first time you will run it, git init command. Once you run it, it will create a staging area and a local repository. Okay, so the next thing, what we have to do, the next thing is
git add.
yeah, git add command we have to run. What does the git add command does?
It will move all the codes to working directly to a staging area.
Yeah, it will move to staging area. Okay, so git add, if we want to move everything, then we use a dot, git add space dot. Okay, if you want to move only specific file also, you can mention that file. Fine. Okay, now once everything is moved to staging area, then what is the next thing that we have to do?
Git commit.
Okay, so what is the git commit command does?
It will move the things from a staging area to local repository.
Yeah, to the
Local
local
repository.
repository. Okay, so git commit, when we are doing this git commit command, what we should give a comment also. So space -m space in double quotes will give the comment. Okay, now once this is done, to move it to the remote repository, we use git push command. Okay, so it is push command that we use. Okay, so it will push everything from this one to this. Okay, now before pushing this command, there is one more thing that we have to do here. Okay, on the GitHub, first we have to create a repository. Okay, without creating a repository, you cannot push the code, right? Without knowing what repository that we have to push to, we cannot do. So we have to create a repository on the GitHub account, GitHub site first. Okay, once it is done, then there is one another time job where we have to set what this final repository is. Okay, what this remote repository is. Okay, there is one more command. We'll see this in the to set okay, this is my remote repository always. Okay, these are the two one-time commands that we have to give. Okay, I will show you what that command is. Okay, but okay, just remember this one. Whenever we set up git, okay, in any working directory, first it will create a staging area and it will create a local repository. Okay, so from working directory to staging area, we use git add command. Okay, from staging area to local repository, we use git commit command. Okay, that's what you have to remember. Okay, now okay, now Okay, that next one is create a GitHub account. Okay, just go to github.com and create an account. Okay, once you create an account, this is the GitHub account, like that you have created. Okay, once you create an account, the next thing that you have to do is you have to create a repository. Okay, yeah, so this is my GitHub account. Just go to github.com and log in. Okay, you'll come to this page and it will show you any repositories that you have created. On the left hand side, it will show you like all the repositories. Okay, so this is your GitHub account. Okay, now the first thing that you have to do is you have to create a repository. How do you create a repository? Just click on this plus symbol here and you will see like all these options. Click on new repository. Okay, so create a new repository. Just give a repository name. I'm giving something like test. Okay, Java batch 1. I'm giving this one, Java batch 1. The repository name is okay. Under my account, it is creating a, I'm creating a repository as Java batch 1. Okay, and whenever you create a repository, you can make it as public or private. Public means everyone can access this repository, everyone can view it, and also can download like any contents under this one. Okay, if you make it private, only you can access this one. Okay, choose, or like we can give permissions for those to access this one. Okay, public and private. This is what we have. Initialize the repository. Okay, so we don't need like generally like anything else. Just click on create repository. Okay, do you understand? Just go to, once you create an account with GitHub, just go to on the right hand side, click on this link. Okay, and click on new repository. Sorry. Amar, just a second, please go on mute. Like if you, okay, fine, yeah. Okay, so just create a repository here. Okay, just create a repository. Just give a name here, and you can make it as public or private. Okay, and then click on create repository, and it will create a repository. Okay, in addition to that, see, it is giving you like all these commands as well. All these commands as well. Okay, so if you see this one, git init, this is the first, this is a one-time command that we run in your local repository. Similarly, git remote add origin. Okay, git remote add origin. This is also one-time command. Let me copy all these things. Let me copy all these things and then notepad. Okay, it will give you these commands also. You don't have to worry about like what commands, but you better like remember everything. Okay, okay. So git init is the first command. This is a one-time command, and this will create all the staging area and local repository. Okay, what this is also like one-time job. Okay, what this job will do. Okay, this is nothing but this is the new repository that you have created. This is the remote repository that you have created, right? https github.com substack java batch 1. This is the new repository that we have created, right? So what we are saying is, okay, add this one, this remote repository to this word origin. That means in future, whenever we refer origin within this particular working directory, that means it is related to this one. Okay, understand this one? We are making this origin as our Java batch 1 repository on GitHub. Okay, that's what git remote add origin. Origin is, and the origin is this one. That's what like we are seeing. Okay, once this is done, then these are two like one time commands that we have to run. Okay, after we create a repository. Okay, now once this is done, then the next thing is we have to use git add command. Okay, if you want to add like only one file, then you can use readme.md. But instead of that, since we have want to like add everything, we use dot git add space dot. It will add everything to the staging area, and then git commit -m. Okay, git commit -m, and in quotes we can use like some comment. Okay, my first project, we can say this one. Okay, and then we can create a branch. We can create a branch on this one, and we can name this branch. So it will show you like git branch -m, but by default it will create a branch called master branch. Whenever we create a repository on GitHub, it will create a branch called master branch. This is the main branch. Okay, I'll tell you like what are these branches on the repository, but for now, like just remember that like branches are nothing but like different folders again in the remote repository. That means you can maintain different versions of your code by creating branches. Okay, you can create like multiple versions. We can create multiple branches, and you can maintain different versions of the code. Okay, so if you want to create a branch main, okay, so you can create it using git branch -m main. So it will create a main branch. And so by default you will have this master branch, but you can also create a main branch. Okay, this is again like the one time job only. Like once you create a branch, the same thing like you can use it. Okay, you don't create like branch with the same name again and again. This is again one time job. Okay, and then once this add and commit is done, you have to push the code from your local repository to sorry, remote repository. So what is the name that is given to remote repository by using this one time command? Origin, right? So we use git push -u origin main. Okay, in the origin. So this is our origin. I'm saying that within this my repository, remote repository, push it to this main branch. Okay, that's what we are saying. Okay, for now, like let's not use this command. Okay, let me take out this command. Okay, and instead of pushing it to main branch, I'll push it to the default master branch. So okay, so this is one we have. These are the 5 commands we have to use, and this is a one time. These 2 are one time commands, and these commands we use them often. I mean, we use them repeatedly. Do you understand this one? Are any questions so far? Anyone?
What does this -m and -u mean?
Those are like we have like different options here, but just for now don't worry about like what are these -m and -u. Okay, just use these commands. Okay, any other questions on like creation of this Git repository, or like pushing, adding it to the staging area, or adding it to the local repository, or adding it to the remote repository? Any questions?
So, like git remote add origin, this path we have to copy and paste, right? Like,
Yeah,
paste it.
once you create a repository here, it will automatically give you like all these commands here. Okay, or if you want to like copy this path, just this remote repository is created, right? I mean, initially, like since you haven't uploaded anything, it will always show you these ones. Okay,
By
but
default.
yeah, but if you go to like any other repository where you have already like uploaded all these ones, okay, you can go to, just give me 1 second, it should be, yeah, see here like you have this path, the git path. Okay, the git path, you can have it here under the code local https. You have all these ones. Okay,
Okay.
so you can what like for a newly created one, let me go to like all my repositories. Okay, yeah, okay, for a newly created one, since you haven't like uploaded, pushed any code to this one, you will see these ones in the commands that we use. Okay, once we push a code to this one, then you will see the actual contents here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing, okay, now let's do this one. Okay, so our so this is our okay, so this is our working directory where we have our project created Java batch here. So now we have to create a Git local repository here. So for this one, we have to execute the command. What is the command that we have to execute for creating a local repository initially? The one-time command is git init. Okay.
Git init.
Yeah. So how do we do that one? Just right click this one and you will see git bash here. Okay, this is the one that is executed with git. I mean that is installed with git when you first time install git. Okay, so git bash here. Click on this one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now the first command that we'll use is git init. Okay. Once you run this code, okay, let me show. Once you right click on this one, git bash here. Okay, that means we are starting the git bash within this folder, our Java batch folder. Okay, so git bash here. Okay, so I'm executing git init here. So once I execute this one, it will create a git staging area and a local repository here. Okay, let me execute this one. Okay, initialize an empty git repository, and that repository is training workspace java batch dot git. Okay, since this is a dot git file, it is not showing you here, but let me see. We can view and then go to hidden items. If you enable this one, okay, see, you will be able to see this dot git. Okay, by default, dot git files are generally hidden, so you have to go into view and then enable this one. So a dot git file is created here. Dot git folder is created. That is where your local repository is created. Okay. Okay, so now you have initialized a local repository here. The local repository means both like staging area and also a local repository is created. Now, the next thing that you have to do is you have to name your remote repository as origin. So git remote add origin to this one. Okay, let me run this one. Okay, I'm copying this one. Okay, I'm going here and paste. Something went wrong. Okay, git remote add. Okay. Okay, so git remote add origin. So this is the remote repository that we have created. https github.com subostek java batch 1.git. Okay, so that means we are naming our remote repository as origin. Okay, let's enter. Okay, so now this is done. So this is the first time within if you want to upload some code to remote repository, these are the first two commands. You don't need to execute each and every time again and again. The next three commands we will use them often whenever we want to add the code to the staging area, from staging area to local repository, from local repository to remote repository. That's what we do. So these are the two initial commands. That first we have to initialize the git repository, git local repository on your working folder, and we have to add this remote repository here. Okay, now this is done. Okay, now okay, next one is we would like to add all our contents to staging area. So the command is git add space dot. Okay, so git add space dot. Okay, once I do it, then execute, all the code will be added to the staging area. Let me run this one. Okay, so now once this command is executed, that means it is added, all the code is added to the staging area. Okay, now once this is done, okay, then we have to move the code from staging area to local repository. How do we do this one? We will do it with git commit command. Okay, so I'll say git commit -m. Okay, I have to give some comment, my first project. Okay, git commit -m, my first project. this is what you have to give a comment to this one, git commit -m, my first project. Okay, once I done this, okay, see, create mode, like all these files are added to the local repository. So if you see this one, okay, these are all the files that we have created so far. Like if you go here, access modifier, first program dot class, access modifier. So all these programs, okay, all these programs are added to the local repository. Now you are ready to push your code to remote repository. So the command is git push -u origin master. Okay, so git push -u origin master. Okay, once we run this command, all our code will be uploaded to here, and once you refresh this one, you can see your, but I think like it will ask for a username and password first. Let me show you the yeah, there is one difference here. I'll show you that one. Okay, git push origin. Okay, so it is pushing it, like everything is fine. Okay, so if you see here git push in the you can see that like okay, counting objects, like 88 objects are there. Okay, so everything is pushed successfully. There is no error here. Okay, so now if you come here and if you refresh this one, you should see all your latest content. See, everything is there here. Okay, I just refreshed this one in the Java batch one. Now everything is pushed to this remote repository. If you go to source, okay, so these are the different packages we have created: access modifier 1, access modifier 2, and first package. So if you see here, this is my workspace. Yeah. So under source, we have access modifier 1, access modifier 2, and first package. Okay. And if you go to this access modifier, you will see the programs: first program.java, second program.java, third program.java, first program.java, second program.java, third program.java. Okay, so do you understand now, like, how to create a repository and what are the different commands that we have that we use frequently in Git, and how to push the code to a remote repository?
Yes.
Okay, now let me show you this one. Now in this program, okay, let's say this is okay, under access modifiers, first program, I'm just like changing something. I'm just adding like some comment here, or like I have updated like some code, some comment I have added, and like I'm also saying system.out.println. Okay, some output, something. I have updated this code. That means this file is changed now. Okay, this file is changed, and I need to I need to push this updated one to remote repository. Okay, so now what do I do? Again, I will use these 3 commands only. Okay, I won't use these 2 commands because only this is the first time that we'll do git init and git remote add repository. Only this is the first time that we'll, and from the next time onwards we'll use only these ones. Okay, now let me do this one again. I have to first add this updated file to the staging area. Okay, so what is the command that I use? I use git add, right? Git add dot. Okay, so all the changes, like what are the files that we have changed, now they all move to staging area. Okay, here when we do this one, only the changed files will be moved to the staging area. Whatever the files that you have updated, only those files will be moved to the staging area. Okay, now the next one is git commit. Okay, so from the staging area we have to move it to the local repository. So git commit -m. Okay, so updated first program. So this is the comment I'm giving. Okay, and before going to this one, let me just show you this comment here. What are the comments? Like, see here, like if you see the comment is that we have made is my first project previously. Okay, now I'm giving this the first program I have updated, and the comment is updated first program. Okay, let me. Okay, see, git commit master added updated first program. 2 files changed. I think like 4 insertions. I think like there is another file also. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is moved to the from staging area to local repository. now the changes are there in the local repository. The next thing what we have to do, we have to push it to the remote repository. Okay, what is the command for the remote repository? The command is git push -u origin master. That means within this origin, this is our origin, right? Java batch 1.git. Okay, within this origin, push it to the master branch. That's what we are saying here. So git push -u origin master. Okay, let's go here and git push -u origin master. Okay, enter this one. Okay, so now everything is uploaded, push it to master branch. Now if I come here, if I refresh this one, you can see the latest one here, like latest comment, and also the contents also will be updated. So if I run this one, okay, you see the comment is updated first program, and you can see the latest contents also in this one. See some comment and system.out.println some output. Okay, do you guys understand this one, or any questions you have? These are the main commands that you have to remember. Okay, these are the only commands that we generally use. Okay, git add for adding it to the staging area, git commit for moving it from staging area to local repository, and then git push command for moving it from local repository to remote repository.
So like if team wants to gather their all codes, so like same repository they will be using.
Yeah, everyone will be using the same repository. So same repository and same branch also generally, so that everything will be merged to that branch. And we'll be having like there is another command which is like git pull command, okay, which we generally use. Okay, I'll tell you this one also later, but for now, okay, just only practice all these commands. Every time you make some changes to the code, try to use these commands and push your code to the remote repository so that you will be used to these commands. Okay,
Okay.
any questions? Just stop using git like from now onwards. Okay, so that by the end of this course you will be perfect with git. Okay, just start using all these commands. First create a project and push the initial project to the remote repository on GitHub, and then whenever you make some changes, every day you practice it, right? So every day after you make some changes, just use these commands and push your code to the GitHub. Okay,
Okay.
so this is about Git. Okay, so let me go here and for now, it is enough. There are like a few more basic Git commands like I have explained here, and yeah. So for this one, I have showed you how to use Git Bash, or you also use command prompt from for running those commands. But you have to make sure that you are there in that directory. Okay, within that directory, you have to make sure that you are there in your working directory, in your project directory. Okay, and you can also push the code using Eclipse. Okay, I'll show it to you for a different project, but for now, practice all these basic Git commands. One is creating a local repository. Second one is mentioning the remote repository name as origin. Those are the two initial commands. Okay, once those two are done, okay, the next one is moving the code from the working directory to the to the staging area, which is by using git add command, and moving the code from the staging area to the local repository by using git commit command, and from the local repository to the remote repository by using git push command. Okay, so this is about Git. Okay, I'll show you when I create a next project, I'll show you how to push the code from Eclipse also. Okay, fine. Now that is about Git. Start practicing the Git commands. Okay, now the next one is I'll show you how to create a Maven project. Okay, Maven project for now only see this one. I have uploaded into our what is this Google Drive, only this one. Okay, because I want you to start creating Maven projects from now onwards. Don't worry about these ones. When we come to this chapter, we'll discuss about these other chapters as well. But for now, it is only creating a new Maven project. Okay, that's what you have to learn. Okay, so when we created when we started this sessions, what is the project that we have created in Java? What is this project? This is a normal Java project that we have created. That means we went into file and we went into new, and then we have created a Java project. Or we can go into other, and you can search Java here, and this is what we have selected, Java project. Okay, but that means this is the basic project that we have created. But there is another thing called we generally create Maven projects. Okay, so Maven projects. Let me give you a small introduction on Maven. So what is Maven? Okay, Maven is Java, whenever Java is introduced, they have created some libraries with Java. Okay, but not everything. Like whatever we can find, we cannot have everything. Whatever we want to use, we cannot have everything in Java. Okay, that is provided by Oracle organization. Okay, so people started creating their own packages or own jar files. For example, if you want to work with what is it, Excel files. Okay, you don't have the functionality in Java, you cannot directly do it using whatever you have downloaded with Java code. Okay, you cannot do it directly. You need to have some external jar files which are developed by some others. Okay, for example, working with Excel files, it was developed by Apache. Okay, so similarly, if you want to work with Selenium, we have to download some other jar files. Okay, so people started developing up a lot of things, a lot of jar files. Okay, but the thing is that we don't they have their own jar files. Okay, if some other people want to use those jar files, okay, we need to have all those jar files at one common place, right? All those extra Java files at one common place. Okay, that is what Maven is. Okay, if you go into Google and type okay, Maven repository, okay, you will see mvnrepository.com. Okay, whatever the jar files that people have created, okay, they can upload it to this Maven repository and other people can use them. Okay, so Maven repository is something where people can upload their own code, okay, which is created in the form of jar files to this Maven repository, and they can use these jar files that others have created. For example, if you want to use uh, uh, Excel files, okay, you want to get the data from Excel or put the data into Excel, we can use something called Apache POI. Okay, if you search with this one, see, we will see Apache POI common, Apache POI, so all these things. Okay, Apache, generally we use Apache POI and also Apache POI OOXML. Okay, those are the two things. So for example, if we want to download this one, okay, we can go into this. Okay, these are all the different versions of jar files that are available. Let us say I would like to use download this 5.2.3 version of the jar files. If I go here, okay, then I will see the code here. Okay, I will see this code here. Okay, so this code I have to use. But how to use this code? Okay, either you can download this one manually. I think there will be somewhere you can okay, there is a home page. If you see py.apache.org. Okay, if we go to the home page, okay, so here you can download all these jar files. You can download them and you can manually configure all these jar files into your project. Okay, but instead of doing that one, what Maven does is they have started like giving like some schemas. Okay, so we can create a Maven project where we can include these dependencies in those projects so that it will automatically download all the jar files that are needed. Okay, that's what a Maven project is. First, let us create a Maven project and then you will understand that one. Okay, now let me show you like how to create a Maven project. Let me open this document first. Okay, so yeah, creating a new Maven project. Okay, creating a simple. Okay, there are like two things like you can do here. Either you can create a simple Maven project or a normal Maven project. Okay, the first thing that you have to do is just go into this file. Okay, and then new, and then here. Okay, earlier we have seen how to create this Java project. So instead of this, we want to create a Maven project. If you see anything here Maven, that is fine. Okay, otherwise just go to other. Okay, and type search with Maven. Okay, you will see something called Maven project. Okay, just click on next. Okay, so you have an option here. If you see, create a simple project. Okay, skip archetype selection. We'll see this one. Okay, for now, just create a simple project. Okay, once I select this one, simple project, click on next. Okay, we have to give these things, group ID and artifact ID. Okay, so this is the first one. Go to file, new, go to other. Okay, and then search with Maven and select Maven project and click next. So search with Maven and select Maven project and click next. Okay, and select the option create simple project. Skip archetype selection and click on next. So click on this create simple project. Okay, and click on next. Now enter the group ID and artifact ID and click on finish. Group ID and artifact ID that we have to enter. Okay, so in this one, what is this group ID? Generally, like whenever you create a project, like this is the first, package, default package will be created. Generally, packages are created with in the reverse order of the domain name. Okay, so com dot, let's say my domain name is test project. Okay, test project dot, for example, I'm working on the finance department, com dot test project dot finance. Okay, and artifact ID. What is this artifact ID? This is nothing but your project name. So I'm giving it as test project. My project name is test project. So once you click on finish, you can see that here it will be created a project called test project. So click on finish. Okay, see, if project is test project is created, but if you see on the right hand side, like bottom, it is still creating the project, creating project test project. Okay, now it is done. Okay, so if you go to test project here, now you can see the folder structure here. Okay, so this has created a basic Maven project. So this is you see source main Java, source main resources, source test Java. Okay, so all these things, all these different folder structure it has created. Okay, okay, fine. Now if you see, this is a pom.xml file is created. The pom.xml, pom.xml file is created, and if you see this one, so this is the group ID that we have given. Okay, com.testproject.finance. Okay, and artifact ID, the project name that we have given is test project. This is what we have given. Okay, this is a basic pom.xml that is created here. Okay, basic pom.xml. Okay, so this is a simple creation of the Maven project. Now let me show you the other one. Okay, now I'm going to Java new other, and then I'm typing it here at Maven and click on this Maven project, click on next. Okay, and now I'm not selecting this create simple project. I'm going into the next. Okay, and here, okay, I have to select the archetype, select an archetype. Okay, it takes some time like to load like all these archetypes. Okay, we have to select an archetype here. What is an archetype? Archetype is nothing but a skeleton of this project that will be created. Okay, we have a lot of archetypes. That means people started creating a lot of skeletons basically. That means the folder structure and everything. Skeletons means like how the folder structure is created and all these things. But there is one particular archetype people always use. Okay, and that one is, let me go here. Okay. Yeah, so this is not, okay, this is done. Okay, creating a Maven project using archetype selection. Go to file, new and other. Okay, so we have done this one. We have selected a Maven project and then select the option create a simple project. Okay, you don't need this one, not select. Now don't select like create simple project option and simply click on next. We haven't selected this one. We just simply click on next. Okay, now in the new Maven projects, okay, search with quick start. Okay, if we search with quick start, okay, so I'm searching with quick start. Okay, so these are the options that I have got. Under this, select the one with group ID as arg.apache.maven.archetypes. arg.apache.maven.archetypes. So under the group ID, just search with arg. Or you can like in that is apache.maven.archetype. Or okay, arg.apache.maven.archetype. Okay, so you will see like all these things in this one. See Maven archetype quick start. This is the one we are looking for. Okay, so see Maven archetype quick start. I have shown it in the picture. Arg and the group ID is arg.apache.maven.archetype and the artifact ID is maven archetype quick start. Okay, Maven archetype of a quick start. This is what you have to select. I have given the details in the document. Okay, click on next. Okay, now again we have to give the group ID and artifact ID. So the group ID is I'm giving something like okay, com.mysite.finance. Okay, something I'm giving a different name here, and the project name is my site. Okay, my site test something, some project name I have given. Okay, group ID and artifact ID. And now click on finish. Okay, if you see on the right hand side bottom, you can see that creating Maven archetype quick start 99% done, building run. Okay, so if you see here, you can see that okay, this is the my site test project is created here. So once you go here, okay, again this will be the same thing like this one, but you will see something some extra things like Maven dependencies, and even if you okay, in the earlier project that we have created with which is the test project, this is the pom.xml that is there. Okay, in the new one that is created, if you open this pom.xml, okay, this is how it will be created. Okay, now we'll see this one later, but for the time being what you have to do is just remember this one. Okay, so this is the dependencies section that we have. Okay, so if you want to work with like excels, what you have to do, you have to download all those jar files and configure them. But instead of like doing it manually, what you can do is, okay, earlier like this is the one that I have shown you, right? For example, I want to download this one. Okay, so we can just copy this dependency section, okay, and put it under dependencies. Okay, put it under dependencies, and once you save this one, okay, it will automatically download. It has already downloaded this one now. Okay, it will automatically download and configure all these jar files to your project. You don't have to manually do it. That is why we use Maven projects. Do you understand this one, or any questions so far? Everyone?
We have got it, but I think after
Yeah.
practicing only it will be clear.
Yes. So what you have to do, just practice. It's simple. Like what you have to do, you should have already created a normal project, right, for your practice. So instead of creating a normal project, just create a Maven project. That's all. Okay, just create a Maven project. Again, you can create a simple Maven project, or you can use an archetype selection. So the archetype that we are using is quick start archetype. Okay, so just create that one. Don't worry about this form.xml dependencies and everything. But sorry, what I'm telling you is, like, the reason why we use an form.xml is, instead of downloading all the external jar files manually and manually configure them, we can use this form.xml in a Maven project, so that you can automatically, by updating this dependencies section, you can download all those external dependencies that you need for your project. Okay, that is why we use Maven projects form.xml to update any dependencies and download them. But for now, just start creating Maven projects and start working in Maven projects. Okay. Now,
Subhain, I did not get the difference between simple Maven project and archetype Maven project.
okay, so simple Maven project is like, you don't need to, okay, the thing is that, like, you don't need to select an archetype when you are creating a simple Maven project. And moreover, when it is created, in a normal archetype, like, when you do it, like, select an archetype, it will come up, like, with all the default things that you need here. For example, like, you need like all these different plugins, while generally developers use all these plugins, like, for compiling, for creating jar files and all these things. So the POM file, it will come with all these defaults. But when you create a normal Maven project, you won't get anything. You'll just, like, just this one, you'll get only this one. But if you create an archetype, if you select an archetype quick start, you'll get all these things. Okay, once you get all these things, you don't need to, like, add all these extra sections. For example, it is saying that, like, the Maven compiler source is using 1.7, and we don't know, like, what compiler it is using. Sometimes it will give you problems, not immediately, but sometimes this is mainly for the developers. Okay, it will give like, some problems for them, so they have to add this section to this one. Okay, and they have to run it similarly. Okay, this dependencies section, we don't have it. Okay, so if you want to have, like, again, add the dependencies again, first you have to add this dependencies section manually, and then you have to upload these dependencies, okay, in this normal one. Okay, so these are, like, some of the differences actually. And moreover, if you see in this archetype selection, it has created a package here, and it has created an small program also. Okay, but here it hasn't created, like, anything. Initially you can do it, like, with a normal simple Maven project itself. Okay, initially for this purpose. But just remember that, like, you can select an archetype also. Okay, archetype means it's basically a skeleton. See, the skeleton means all the folder structure. Okay, if you select a different archetype, you will get a different skeleton for this one. Okay, but normally the one that we use, the archetype that we use is this one, Maven archetypes, that is Maven archetype quick start. This is the one that we use. Okay, any other questions? Just stop. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Is it in a real-time automation testing scenarios? Do we have to use a lot of dependencies for the
Yes.
POM XML file, depending on our project? Or?
Yeah, it depends on projects. Most of the projects we use, like, we do data-driven testing, where we use, like, Excel files, okay, for storing our data. So we need to have those dependencies. Okay, Excel files.
Okay.
For Selenium itself, Selenium is developed by it's an open source. Basically, they are like a set of programs for Selenium. So you need to have that dependency. Okay, within Selenium, again, you have something called like TestNG. that is again another dependency that we should download. Okay, similarly we have like for moving the files in Selenium, we take screenshots and we save them to a folder. So for that one, like we Apache has developed like some other dependency, I don't know, open utils or something. So we need to have that dependency. So almost we'll use like I think at most 10 dependencies we'll have.
Okay, like a different jar files. So we
Yeah,
get
different
that
jar files.
dependency code and we put it in the POM Excel file.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, but while we go through like all these chapters, we will come to know like what are all those different dependencies that we have, and what are all those but even if you don't know like what dependencies it is, you can just Google it. Okay, so you'll come to know what dependency it is.
Mostly we will see like a generally used
Yeah, generally used
dependencies
like
that
Excel, TestNG, Selenium. So these are the general, but when we come to those chapters, we'll see them. Okay.
apart from these, some domain dependencies, we have to work with something extra. We
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to Google them and search them and
Yeah,
add
if
that.
there is any particular thing like any special thing that you get in your project, then you can Google it. Okay, what is that dependency for that one? Generally, like whenever I do, okay, I don't like remember anything. What I will do is, suppose I'm working on Selenium, so I'll just go to Google and I will say Maven Selenium dependency. Sorry, Maven Selenium dependency. Okay, see Selenium Java Maven repository. If I go here, okay, see I directly got it. So I can directly go to like one of these ones. Okay, and I can grab this one.
Okay.
I can grab this one, this dependency, and put it in the pom.xml. And once I update the pom.xml, it will automatically download all these jar files. Okay, and suppose testng dependency. Okay, so I'm using testng. Okay, Maven testng dependency. Okay, Maven testng dependency. So arg.testng Maven repository. So these are all like testng dependencies that we have. Okay, now arg.testng. Yeah. So these are all the dependencies that we have. So we can use like one of these dependencies. Okay. Okay. So any other questions on Maven? Sorry, guys. Any other questions? Or are you okay? Just start like creating the Maven projects and use them, and also start pushing your code to the remote repositories. Then you will be used to both of this, and we'll go into detail. I mean, Git almost like everything I have covered. I'll see like if there are any additional commands that I have to cover for Git. But for Maven, like we'll see them like in more details when we come to that particular chapter. But for now, just start creating Maven projects and start using those projects. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now let me go into the next chapter. Let me close like all of this. Close all. Let me close this one. Let me close this one. Okay. Code Selenium. No, not code Selenium. It's Java. And training Java. Okay. So we have seen these access modifiers, right? Okay, just give me 2 minutes, guys. Okay. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. Okay, let me start with this inheritance. We have completed this access modifiers. Let me start with inheritance. Okay, are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Okay, so what is inheritance? Okay, inheritance is nothing but it is a process by which one class acquires the properties and functionalities of the other class is called inheritance. Okay, so we can acquire the properties nothing but variables. Okay, and functionalities is nothing but methods. Okay, we can acquire the properties and functionalities of another class is called inheritance. The aim of inheritance is to provide reusability of the code so that a class has to write only one unique features and the rest of the common features and functionalities can be extended from another class. That means, okay, we have let's say we have two classes. Okay, the first class has some features. Okay, and the same features and also the same functionality I want to use it in a different class. Okay, let me explain you this one here. Okay, let us say this is my class, this is my class. Okay, and this is another class. Okay, and this is, let's say this is class A and this is class B. Okay, so I have class A and I have some features and functionalities. That means I have some variables and I have some methods in this one. I want to have the same features and functionalities in this class also. So in that case, what I can do is I can create inheritance between these two classes. Okay, that means I can make this class B as a child class of this class A. Okay, and once I make this class B as a child class of this class A, then I can inherit all the properties and functionalities. Properties means variables, functionalities means methods. I can inherit all the functionalities, properties and functionalities of this class A to class B, and that is called inheritance. Okay, we have seen it in the access modifiers a little bit about this inheritance. So how do we make this class B as a child class of this class A?
Using extend keyword.
Yeah, extends
So
keyword.
when we declare this class B, so we declare it public, okay, class B, and then I use extends keyword. Extends, okay, class A. Okay, so here I'm extending this class B to class A. So in this case, when I use it like this, now this class B is a child class of this parent class, class A. Okay, in this case, it is called class B is called as child class and class A is called as parent class. Okay, now I can access all the properties and functionalities by using this class B. I mean, class B object itself. I don't have to create an object for class A because now class B is a child class of class A. Okay, so here I don't need to create an object for class A to access that properties. I can directly use class B object, okay, to access class A properties and functionality. Got it? Okay, I don't need to create an, okay. So suppose in any other class, if I want to access the properties of class A and functionality of the class A, what I should do? Anyone? If I have some variables under class A and also some methods on class A under class A, how I want to access those properties and methods. I want to access those variables and methods of this class A in a different class. What I should do?
You have to
You will have this modifier as public.
Yeah, but I mean, how can I access them?
you have
By
to create
using that, creating the object of the particular class.
Exactly. Let us say this is my Okay, this is another class. Let's say this is class C. Okay, this is class C. So I want to access the variables and methods of this class A and class C. I have to create an object for this one. Or if they are static variables or static methods, then I have to use this class A name to access them in class C, right? I have to create an object, or I have to use this class A name. But in this case, okay, we are extending this class B to class A. That means that now this class B is a child class of this class A. Okay, in this case, I don't need to create an object for class A, because when I do something like this, that means it is nothing but all the variables and methods, they come and sit here. That's all. So I can create an object for class B, or to access the properties and functionalities of class A. I don't need to create an object for class A. Or I can, the static variables of this class A, I can directly access them by using class B name. Okay, do you understand this one?
Yeah. And if you want to use the static variables of a class A in class B, then you don't have to use class name also, right?
Yeah, we don't have to use class name also, but in a different class, like, you can directly use the class B name itself to access the variables of class A, because this is a child class of this class A. So whenever we make it one class as a child class of another class, it is nothing but all the code in this one, it literally come and sit in this class. That's all. So you can directly use this class B object or class B name to access the variables or the functionalities, that means variables and methods of this class A. Okay.
Okay. So static variable, if you want to access that static variable of class
Then
A,
also,
then we have to use
then you can use
class B name.
Class B name itself.
If you,
Can use.
yeah, it is like mandatory thing, right?
I mean, now see, within this same class B, you can access the static variables of this class A directly, because this is a child class. You don't
Yeah,
need to use the class name also here. But in a
yeah,
different
that's the meaning.
class, in a different class, if you want to use it, like, you have to use this class B name.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let us go to the examples. Okay, so here I have, like, two classes. One is, let me show you this one. For practice purpose, let me create a new project here. Okay, new, and I'm creating, like, I'm going to other and Maven. Okay, click on next. Okay, and I'm selecting not a simple one, but I will select an archetype here, and the archetype is quick start. Or let me just get the name of this. Okay, so this is the one, Maven archetype quick start, right? This is the name, Maven archetype Maven archetype quick start. Okay, so that is from arg.apache.maven archetypes. Okay, this is the one that we will select. Click on next. Okay, and give a new name. The group ID is something like, I will give it as com.test site. Okay, test site. So I'm creating something like test site. I'm creating, and click on finish. Okay, so test site project is being created. So it should, okay, I think it's already done. Let me just refresh this. Okay, fine. So this is already done. Okay, let me go into this main project. Source main.java. Okay, and this is com.testsite.testsite. Okay, this is a default package created, and this is one program by default it is created, and it is using JUnit here, so we don't need this one. So I'm just removing everything. Okay, I'm just deleting this one. Okay, now I'll create a new package here. My new package is, let's say, I'm giving, like, some name. Generally the package names, they start with in the reverse order of the domain name. com dot, okay, test site. Okay, this is my new package. Under this package, I'm creating a class here, and the class name is PR1 parent class. I'm creating a new class here. Okay, under this one, I'm creating like some instance variables. Okay, the string name is equal to some name Rajesh. Okay, and another one is string role is equal to, let's say, manager. Okay, and then string company. String company is equal to let's say IBM. Okay, small t. Okay, so another one is int salary equal to, let's say, 40,000. Okay, so these are like some variables that I have created. Okay, now I will create like some okay, instead of this company IP of, instead of having like these lot of variables, let me do one thing. Let me remove this, and I will these, what are these? These are instance variables, right? Let me create like some static variables also. The static variables are static static, let's say string ID. ID is like, let's say, some ID I have created. Okay, static. What is the, let us create like some, not string, this is integer, static int. Sorry. Okay, and another let me create like a static string. Okay, I think like two variables are enough. That is fine. Let me take out like this. Okay, so I have created like one instance variable, and I have created one static variable here. And then let me create like a public one static method. So I'll use static, okay, display, okay, display public static display. Okay, and the return type I have to use, right? So void, return type is void, and then system.out.println. I'm displaying something like a static method. Okay, and then public void instance method I am creating. Okay, example. Just the method name is example, and then I am saying system.out.println instance method. Okay, so what I have done, I have created a class here which name is PR1 parent class, and I have created one static variable, one instance variable, and I have created one static method, one instance method. Okay, now let me create a child class for this one. Okay, so I'm just creating new class, okay, PR2 child class, okay, and I'm using main method as well in this one. Okay, now I want to make this one as a child class for this parent class. So what I have to do, I have to use extends keyword, extends, okay, extends PR1 parent class. Okay, now since I used this extends keyword, this PR2 child class is a child class of this PR1 child class. Okay, so now what I want to do is I have created like another keyword string some str1 equals to hello. Okay, and I'm creating some static one, static string str2 equals to hi. Okay, now in this main method, if I want to access this one, the same class like instance variable, then what I have to do, I have to create an object for this child class. Okay, PR2 child class, some object one, I'm saying object one is equal to new PR2 child class. Okay, so I can, if I say system.out.println object one dot str1. Okay, I'm accessing this instance variable by creating an object. And if I want to access the static variable, I don't need to create an object basically. So I can directly system.out.println str2. Okay, because this is a static variable. This one we have seen it already. Okay, so if I run this one now, it prints hello and hi. Okay, but now what I want to do is I want to access these static variables and instance variables, and also the static methods and instance methods of the parent class. Okay, this is a parent class. Okay, so how can I access them? Since this is a child class, I don't need to create an object for this parent class now. I can directly access the instance variables of the parent class using this child class object. So if I say now like system.out.println, object 1 is the child class object, and dot, if you see, you will see we are seeing this id. Okay, so what is the parent class? Okay, so name we have to see. Okay, let me show you this one. Dot, yeah, see, name we are seeing. So if I use this one, now I will get the parent class instance variable using the child class object, because we are extending this to the parent class and we are making this as a child class of this one. So it is nothing but all the variables and methods of this parent class will come and sit into this class basically. So you can use this child class object itself. Now if I run this one, run as Java application, it is object1.name, it is printing Rajesh. Okay, similarly I want to access the parent class static variable id. Okay, so instead of using this parent class name, okay, I can use the child class name. So it is pr2 child class dot id. I can use this one. Okay, so using the child class name itself, I can access this one 4564. But since this we are doing it within the same class, even I don't need to use this child class name also. Okay, I can directly print it, run as Java application 4564. Similarly, I want to call this parent class instance method, which is example, which prints instance method. So how can I do that one? I can, okay, so I have it here. Okay, I can system.out.println. I can use the child class name object1 dot, okay, object1 dot, what is this parent class instance method? Example. So if you see, you will see it here, example. So I'm accessing this parent class instance method using the child class object. Okay, system.out.println, remove the arguments. Somewhere something went wrong. Let me try again. System.out.println object1 dot example. Why it is showing an error? Oh, sorry. I don't need to use like system.out.println, right? I can directly like, okay, it's not returning anything. Basically, it is a void and it is printing it here. So object1.example, I can use the child class object to access the method. So now if I run this one, run Java application, and it will print instance method. Okay. Similarly, if I want to access this display method, which is a static method of the parent class, I can use the child class name here. So the child class name dot, okay, and display. Okay, I can use this one. So now if I run this one, run as Java application, and it will print static method. But since this is a static method and this is a child class of this parent class, within this class I don't need to use this class name also. I can directly call this display method and run as Java application, and it will print static method. Okay, so do you understand the inheritance concept here, or any questions?
I think it is clear for me.
Okay.
It's clear. Thank you.
Okay, so one important question in this one, like, people will generally ask is, okay, we have to understand, like, something called like an upcasting here. Okay, I'll show you, like, what is upcasting in this one. Okay, now I have two classes here. Okay, one is a parent class and one is a child class. Okay, let me ask you, like, one question here. The question is, why do we go for inheritance? Why we go for inheritance? What is the time?
To use the code.
Sorry, it's already 8. Okay, we'll take it tomorrow. Okay, but practice, like, all these examples and start creating like Maven projects and also start using Git. Okay, not tomorrow, it's on Monday. Actually, again, the class is on Monday. Okay, but start, like, in these 2 days, like, practice all these examples, like, if anyone haven't practiced this one, start practicing like all the examples and also use start creating like Maven projects, start creating repositories and start pushing your code to the Git repository and all these things. Okay, please, like, practice like everything, okay, before coming to the next class. Okay, in the next class we will see, like, we have seen like this inheritance concept. In the next class I'll tell you like why we go for inheritance. No one will ask you, like, generally why we go for inheritance, but you have to understand the concept behind that, why we generally, because the reason is like instead of creating a parent class structure like this, you can see, you can directly like create an object for this parent class and you can access all this functionality, right? Why do we create this one as a child class of this one? Why can't we directly create an object of this parent class in this child class and we can access this functionality, right? You understand, right? The question here. The question is,
Yes.
this is a child class of we are making this as child class and we are accessing all the functionality of this parent class using the child class object or child class name. But instead of doing this one, okay, I can just remove this extends PR1 parent class, okay, so that this will become a separate class and I can create an object for this parent class and I can access all the functionalities of this parent class in the child class directly by creating an object. I don't need to create it as a child class. But why do we go for this inheritance? That's the thing, like, you need to understand, you need to get the concept behind that. Okay, no one will ask you in an interview, but if you understand that, then it will be more useful for you. Okay,
Subbu, I think it is because of using memory more efficiently. I'm just guessing.
no, it's not because of the memory, but we will discuss that one on Monday. Okay. Okay, any other questions or anything that you guys have? Okay, yeah, fine, then we'll meet on Monday. Okay, thank you everyone, thank you, bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the class.
Thank you, Subbu.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.